Welcome to the demonstration of my final medium fidelity prototype that I created in Figma. So, first, before we do any interactions, I just basically wanted to go through kind of the design changes I made based off of um, evaluation from the paper prototypes and just general concepts that we've learned. So essentially, the base of this prototype is going to resemble a lot like what the current iOS interface looks like, right? So as you can see, at least from this view, there's really only one change that you can see, and that's because one of the design alternatives from the paper prototype phase wasn't well received because it made too many changes to the iOS interface. So it seems like most people prefer as little change as possible and more just quality of life improvements. All right, so that's why this interface looks very identical to the iOS interface currently. The only notable change that you see on this view is the addition of these icons, right, next to the AM or PM text. And essentially, I believe that the AM and PM text is far too consistent, right, on iOS. Literally, the only way you can really discern it is if you're paying attention to an A and a P. And honestly, if you're pretty tired at night, that might be hard to catch sometimes. But the icons are very distinct from any other, I guess, thing you see on the screen, right? Following Apple's design language of their dark mode and just their color tones, basically. I added icons to denote the actual time of day. So, and they're not just, one icon for AM or one icon for PM, right? It actually tells you the time of day. So, for example, on East Coast at least, the sun rises currently around 8:30 a.m. Okay, so you have an indicator, right, which shows the sunrise at 8:30. But as the day progresses and around the 12 or to 4 p.m. range, right, that's when the sun is usually out the brightest. You're gonna have the full sun emoji there, and then once you reach something like 8 p.m., it's basically nighttime in the East Coast now, at least as of October 26th. So that's why you see the moon emoji. But once you get to 1 a.m., right, that's when most people are going to be asleep. So that's why you see a moon emoji with Z's coming out, right, to denote that it's very late into the night, essentially. So that should just be something to help discern the time of day a little bit quicker and a little bit easier for a tired user, right? And the second thing I added would be kind of a feedback pop up, right? So whenever you enable one of these alarms, you're going to see how much time is left remaining until that alarm. So let's say you still were tired or something and you did not catch the PM or the emoji at first. Hopefully, by reading, your alarm will ring in, I don't know, 19, 20 hours, right? You realize, oh, that's definitely not the time of day that I was trying to set. All right, let me go find the actual right time of day. So that kind of explains, kind of the thought processes of these design additions of this final prototype. So now let's actually go into a fully fledged interaction. Right? So it's 8:35 p.m. Imagine, you know, it's imagine I came home from work. I've been doing stuff since then, and I'm trying to get ready for bed, right? And the next day, I need to wake up at a different time, right? Let's say it's the weekend actually. I usually sleep in, but now I need to actually set a time to help a friend, right? And I need to help them by 9:30 a.m. or something. Um, let's say I accidentally click 8 p.m. Okay, and it says rings in 23 hours and 25 minutes, right? So my mind may have not caught 8 p.m. or the moon emoji, but let's say my reading skills still make sense and I see rings in 23 hours and 25 minutes, I realize I'm definitely not going to be up at 9 a.m. If that's the case. So then I just turn off that alarm. I scroll back through my list, see an 8:30 a.m. alarm with the sun emoji coming out. I realize, okay, that's sunrise. All right, that's about the time I'm expecting myself to be up and ready by 9:30 or 10 a.m. And then I click on it, and it says ring in 11 hours and 55 minutes. All right, so now I have this visual indicator of the sunrise icon and this feedback pop up telling me when this alarm will ring. All right, so now there's 2 layers of confidence and 2 layers of clarity that is telling me that I will be up in the AM, right? The sunrise, the 11 hours from now, essentially, right? And yes, that's essentially about it for the final prototype. Right? Thank you for watching.